Hey guys, how's it going? Bernadette here. I am so excited for today's live, you guys. But before I start, I'm trying to add Janet so she can join me. I'm just doing that. All right. So I did invite Janet, so I'm just waiting. Once again, I'm on my cell phone, you guys. And yeah, I'm not able to properly invite her on on my laptop. So I'm struggling, and that's okay. Janet is here, I think.
Ah, I clicked the wrong one. I did audio only. Let me go back. Okay.
Okay.
Um, I'm gonna.
Hey, hey guys, so I'm waiting for Janet. We'll be she'll be on soon. So I'm just waiting. Technology is a struggle, I'm telling you. I'm just waiting for Miss Janet. How are you guys doing? I can't believe it's Thursday already. Let me try and bring Janet on. Yeah, I did invite you again, Janet. Let's see. Oh, hi, Janet. There you are.
I
Hi.
came with face and all this time.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. Staying warm and just making the best of every day.
Well, that's the only thing that we can do, not?
Yeah, yeah. It's been a while since we've done a live together. I'm excited
Yes.
to join me.
It's good to be with you again.
Yes, yes. Hi, Kayla. Thank you for watching. Come on in, you guys. We're just starting this amazing, juicy live. It's about energy vampires and trauma. But before we start, I want to introduce myself, and then I'll give Janet a chance to introduce herself as well. My name is Bernadette Desir, probably the only cool Bernadette that you know. And I'm the host, the founder of the podcast, and I just love people. I love people's heart, people's stories, people's strength and resilience, and how we can bounce back from everything or anything that life throws at us. So I started doing those lives probably November last year, and here I am. I'm still doing them. So that's who I am. And Janet, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Janet Schoen, and I am a wife, a mom, and a business owner. I am helping women over 40 to transform their lives with a mind, body, spirit connection. And it rides on my heart to do it. And I love people just as well as Bernadette does. It's crazy how certain people are just wired for people. And it's been a pleasure to be connected with you, Bernadette.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. So, Janet, where in the world are you joining us from?
Ohio.
Oh, nice. I've never been there. I've been to Texas. I don't know if I'm going back anytime soon. It was too hot for me, way too hot. Yeah, I'm tuning in from Canada, you guys. And it's funny and unique as I'm doing interviews with different people. I asked them, "Where are you tuning in from?" And I say, "Can you guess where I'm tuning in from?" I say, "Canada." Like, no way. Yes way. I enjoy freezing. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes. To start, um, give me your own definition or take on energy vampires.
energy vampires can be thoughts that keep reoccurring over and over and over to either do something that you're not doing. I mean, like,
Hmm.
yeah, I had one. I had to put my passport information in for the airline, and I was thinking, for like a dumb ditty for like a month. I knew it was there. I needed to do it, and then as soon as I did it, I was like, why didn't I do that like weeks ago? So that, and also when we're fighting negative self-talk, on, you know, when we're listening to the things that aren't coming from your spirit or from God, and you are listening to that more than you're listening to your heart, that's an energy leak. And just who you surround yourself with,
Yeah.
and what you put in your ears, what you listen to, can totally take away your energy. I mean, Tony Robbins really got it. If you are feeling yucky, if you get up and you just shake your booty, you will feel better, guaranteed.
Yeah, for sharing. Yeah, I love your take on it because the way you describe it, you're telling us that even though you're watching something on TV, it can still draw energy out of you and impact you. Even though you're listening to the radio, it can do the same. If you're listening to naggy friends, families, it can do the same. And so often we find ourselves very drained when we go to work, when we get home. It just, at times, it doesn't stop. But yeah, I'll give you guys my definition of energy vampires. There's no wrong or right answer to this. That's why I asked you, what was your take on it, right? So energy vampires, they surround us. We cannot avoid them. We can't always run from them or hide from them. And they're just there. Sometimes we know they're there, but my definition of it is, I don't know if you've heard of the word or term of an empath. Um, Empaths are very sensitive people. Empaths are beautiful beings. Not that everyone else is not, but essentially they soak up people's energy from their environment, from their work, from anything that they may be plugged into. All right. And they're everywhere. Energy vampires are everywhere. We can't avoid them, like I said. What are your thoughts?
Absolutely correct with that. And it's about when we spot them in our lives, is not resisting them, but just acknowledging they're present. And then by acknowledging that they're present, you are present, so then therefore you are empowered to make a choice. Do I want to keep listening to this? Do I want to keep being in this circle? Or what do I need to do to keep myself where I you want to keep your energy up, because when your energy is up, you feel great about who you are, and then you exhibit greatness out to others by
Mhm.
keeping your energy up.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. So we're gonna go over, the different types of energy vampires. As I was doing my research on this, I'm like, wait a minute, there are different types of them. I didn't know that. So this is really cool. So the first one is the victim.
Mm,
Uh,
yes.
they they believe that they're at the mercy of everybody, and they just block people emotionally. They just want to get their way, and they'll do everything and anything that they can to get what they want at any cost.
Yes, but they're not doing that purposely. They're doing that from their programming or limiting beliefs of what they have experienced in their life. And if you're seeing it, as hard as it may be, if you see it in someone else, that means there's an ounce of it in you that you best investigate it and try to release it within yourself. Take yourself back to your childhood or wherever in your life where you have experienced what that person is saying. That's where that you can look at it as a negative, or you can look at it as oh, it's an opportunity to learn and maybe to peel a layer back on that onion again and bring my greatness up.
Yeah, yeah. You might change your answer on the second one. You ready? The
Okay.
nar the narcissist vampire.
I actually have looked into narcissism because I didn't understand what it was. And it's that one's kind of a double-edged sword, because you can't, because if it's someone you love, like, and that, like, there's just certain components of them that are narcissistic. It makes it rough, but
Yeah.
take that breath and make that choice. And if they, hopefully they can understand if you choose to remove yourself from them. Or a thing that you can do um, is use Ho'oponopono, which is just saying the 4 phrases: I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you. And you just keep kind of, you're listening, but you're not really listening. And you just kind of keep saying that over and over and over, like, and it's like a shield. It protects you from that energy coming into you because, yeah, it's like a shield.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's a tricky one, right? Narcissism, because these are human beings that feel. But I mean, at some point, the shield does break. Over time, someone put up with so much, and at some point, they reach their limit of how much they're willing to take from that person. And at times, it's hard to recognize what's been happening over the years until
Mm-hmm.
something triggers someone to look into why they're sick, why they're depressed, why they feel a certain way about someone. So it takes some time to figure that out.
Well, I also want to add with the Ho'oponopono, it doesn't just work for you, but if there's someone in your vicinity and you're wanting, or no, I mean, that's not a great word. Um, to enable to, if you have good thoughts for that person and you keep saying that over and over, I am sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you,
Hmm.
over and over and over, it can affect them, but it also protects you. It's kind of like a double, it the other side of the that is good of the
Mm.
sword, if that makes sense. It's
Yeah, 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 it does. Yeah,
because
yeah. And the
Hugh Lin was a psychologist in Hawaii, and he was called to a jail that, or prison, that was really, like, it was very negative and a lot of mental disorders and different things. And they had doctors come in and out, and they would come and leave as fast as you could breathe. And when he came, he never even met with any of them, but every day he went through all the records of all the people there and would just,
Mhm. Oh, oh, sorry, I lost you for a minute there, but I can hear you now. Oh, I lost you again. Yeah. Are you guys able to hear Janet?
ah,
Okay.
there we go. There, I'm sorry. It muted me. The
I can
next
hear you now.
the next time it comes up, I'm gonna have to just like dismiss it. I'll be like right back if I go out, so that way I won't do it again. Gotta love technology.
Yeah, no worries, no worries at all. Yeah, I put my
but
phone on Do Not Disturb while
but
I'm
he
using.
well, it's an alarm that I had set for a mindset
Oh,
call, and I didn't get it like canceled out, so that's why it keeps coming back.
okay, no worries.
So
Yeah, so,
but anyhow, he every day he would go into the jail and he would pull out the records and he would read them. And as he was reading them, he would just keep saying the Ho'oponopono over and over and over. And throughout time, I mean, it does take, it's not like an overnight or instantaneous thing, but eventually it got at the point where people were pleasant, and they ended up closing the jail because people were healed.
hmm,
And it was just from the energy of putting that out of, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you, because it has humility, it has gratefulness and self-love. It's just good.
yeah. Can you tell us what it means? I have a hard time saying it. The Ho'oponopono.
Ho'oponopono.
Yeah, for those who don't know what it means, maybe they've never heard of it.
It's a Polynesian, kind of like a prayer is what it is, and it's just those 4 statements:
Okay.
I'm sorry, And you can say them in any order that you want. There is no like specific, like, oh, you have to say it in this order. No, 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 no. It doesn't matter. Just remember it's, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, and I love you.
Yeah.
And the I love you can be towards yourself or towards the other person, because we all can use some self love no matter what.
Those are pretty powerful words,
It's
right?
a simple, beautiful, beautiful thing, a prayer from the Polynesian culture.
Yeah, 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 I love that. Yeah. And the third type of energy vampire is the dominator vampire. And dominator vampires, they love to feel superior, like they're the alpha males or females. And due to their lack of inner insecurities, even though they won't acknowledge that they're feeling weak at the moment, that they're wrong, that they're hurting. Therefore, they make themselves look bigger. So people looking on the outside think that they're fine.
Yeah, and ultimately they have a very low self-worth.
Mhm. Mhm.
And I've actually been reading a book that just came out yesterday by Jamie Kern Lima called Worthy. And she explains the difference between self-confidence and self-worth. And self-confidence, we think, oh, if I got this, I got the confidence to go do this. But if we don't work on the self-worth, you we fall people fall into that third category because we don't have the security. All the foundation comes from the self-worth, is what I'm learning. And yeah, but I've been around people like that, and it's hard. Like, I didn't realize, I mean, I knew that they were that type of a person. Not that I looked down on them, because they were great people and they were doing great things. But when I walked away from them, I felt really drained. And it's because you feel like you're being judged all the time. And
Yeah.
some of that is self-infliction. but but when you're around people, we meet their energy. Like, you are pleasant, I'm meeting your energy. I want to keep my energy up because yours is good.
Yeah.
Now if you came on here and you were like this, well, well, then it would be really hard to be like this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, definitely. I find for me it's hard to be around dominator vampires because they think they're right all the time, even though they're wrong. So I just agree to disagree. I'm like, okay, I love you as a human being. You're entitled to your views and opinions, and I just draw the line. It is pointless, people, to go head to head with a dominator energy vampire.
yes,
You're just not gonna. You can try. It's gonna go their way. They'll do everything they can. They will make themselves look big,
they're
tall,
fighting for their
like
life
know
because that
everything.
is their security.
Yeah, yeah, like they know everything. It's pointless. So I stopped fighting against those. You ready for the fourth type of energy vampire? Let's see
Sure.
if I, ooh, the melodramatic vampire. The melodramatic vampire thrives on creating problems, often there to create constant drama and to just dwell in the emptiness that's in those dark places and drama. What are your
Oh,
thoughts?
I think that that's a big one. Drama is, and and if you're surrounded by it, you grow up with the drama. You will
Yeah,
you will have drama. I mean, like, even Ed Milet said that he likes chaos because he works better, because he grew up in a childhood where his dad was an alcoholic father, and there was chaos. And but he's learned that he actually can work better without chaos, but he was so programmed to it. And drama is a huge, I think that's the, maybe because I have been surrounded by drama. um and I know one of my children is surrounded by um a significant other that is surrounded by drama. And a long time ago, I'm like, dude, you need to set your boundary.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and you don't have to join in on that drama. It's a
Mm,
choice.
yeah. Yeah.
And that was hard for him, but with time he got better with it.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
ultimately every one of these, it is a choice that you can empower yourself by finding presence and deciding if you should stay or you should go or just be quiet
Yeah.
and protect yourself.
Mhm. Yeah. And they also do that to, it gives them an opportunity to be seen. It creates something, it gives them the chance to feel victimized. Because this happened to me, and when really they're just stirring the pot by themselves, but they're seeking that attention. It could be from inner child wounds as an adult, where they just need that love that mommy and daddy could have, should have given to them. But now they're adults, they have kids and their families, and they still yearn for that love, but they
Yeah,
can't find it that they want to find it, if that makes sense.
yeah. It's it doesn't make it right, and it's not making it wrong. It just it just is. But it's our job as individuals to take care of ourselves. We cannot change them. We cannot change the way they're. I didn't get rid of it. I just canceled it again. Okay.
No worries. Go ahead.
But I knew to unmute this time. I learned a little bit.
That's all right.
So I forget what I was saying. Can you refresh me, please?
Yeah, we're talking about melodramatic energy
Mm.
vampires. We cannot change them.
No, we cannot. And there, it, yeah, that's because I have that experience of my life. I think even as children in school,
Yeah.
you know, you there are kids that make a mountain out of a molehill, and it's because they've learned it. I mean, but and it's not right and it's not wrong, but that's the one I kind of relate with the most. And then narcissism, I've done enough research that there's a fine line of what is narcissism and what isn't, and how someone functions,
Hmm.
and it's how it's perceived. So
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. Melodrama. I'm personally allergic to drama. I stay away from it, and I just like it. Let me put it that way. Anything or anyone that seeks to take my peace away, I peace out from them. I just don't want it. I don't want it, right? And it takes time to learn that, right?
yes, it
There was a
does.
time, I was a child once. I still have a childlike mind and heart. There was a time when I saw the world and gold and diamonds and everyone was perfect. Everyone, there was no wrong that could come to me. Why? Because I'm so innocent. I'm a child and I'm exuding love and I want people to do the same. I expected that. But over time, people truly show me who they are, growing up and all the abuse and all of that. Now, I'm like, nope, right? Boundaries, which is something you touch on a little bit.
Yes, yes.
Right? The fifth type of energy vampire. How are you guys doing? Comment in the comments. Um, what are your experiences with energy vampires, and how are you healing from that and moving forward from that? We'd love to hear you. All right, let us know. So the fifth type of energy vampire is the judgmental vampire. I mean the The title said it itself.
Ye-
Right?
And I think that this is probably the most common one in this world that we live in. Because, like I had said before, though, when you have that judgment about what someone is saying or doing, you have that judgment in you. And people don't look at it that way unless you're in the self-development world and your mindset growth world. But everyone has an opinion. and and I mean, but I mean, it can be as big as like politics and world things, or it can be actually as little as is something you like to eat. I mean, you have a judgment, you have an opinion. An opinion is still a judgment. It's only when you can be completely neutral about everything, which I don't think happens, that that you could be, yeah, it just it shows up in
Yeah.
everyday life.
Oh, you're frozen. Are you
Crazy.
still here?
Do you
I
still see me?
I see you now. You're just frozen for a little bit. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we had a storm earlier. Maybe we're having one again. I don't know.
That's all right.
So,
Yeah, so judgmental vampires, they go from severe low self-esteem. And that's how they feed. They feed by reflecting what they're feeling on other people. Okay, they prey on people's insecurities because it feeds their egos. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel better. And they don't feel zero remorse of what they're taking from other people.
yeah, and it's a true choice. You know, um, this one actually has been an area that I've worked a lot on, and sometimes some people just are judgmental. I mean, that we know and we love and have in our lives, and I kind of have got futz with the idea of, well, them judging me is really the way they know how to love, because they're only telling me. They don't tell everyone. They're telling me because they're trying to help me. It's their way of trying to help me. And I can look at it as a judgment or an act of love of just trying to help me. And I mean, yeah, there's usually
Yeah,
resistance there that
yeah,
I'm
Kayla,
really working through.
sorry, go ahead. Go Kayla says, I believe everyone is judgmental to a point. Very true.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because we're not the same. Okay, you can put a group of people that physically look the same. Are they the same people though? Really? No, not really. They're not, right? So, and I get what you're saying though. I think there's healthy judgment and very, very, very unhealthy judgment. And sometimes people cross the line with the unhealthy judgment. If we didn't have judgment, we wouldn't survive. Just like we need instinct to survive, we need our thoughts, our mind. We need those experiences to thrive.
Yes, as long as we don't allow it to go into the fight or flight mode where, where your cortisol gets up and your hair starts to stand up on end because this person is saying something that is like just rude and judgmental. And you know working through that and working through that resistance is where you can start to find more joy, peace, and love.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. You ready for the sixth type of energy vampire? Huh,
Yes.
this one's a common one, sorta not. It's the innocent energy vampire. Okay, so energy vampires, they're not always malicious. Some of them are very innocent. Sometimes they can be helpless and they just want to help people. They just want to become friends with people. Meaning, for someone to fit into the crowd, could be at school, at work, they make themselves feel small. They shrink just to fit in. That's an innocent energy vampire. They know it's wrong. They know they shouldn't, but they're giving their power away and they do it. What are your thoughts?
I think I'm guilty. I've done
Oh,
I've done that. I've done that in my life.
you're not
Um,
alone. Yeah.
and I come to realize that I didn't really help them by shrinking myself. Um, I thought I was, but it was with good intention, and it wasn't like I did anything wrong. It's just
Yeah.
I didn't allow my spirit and who I'm created to be set forth in faith. I shrank down to make them feel comfortable, and there's a way of doing it, just like zipping your mouth is probably a better way, you know
Yeah.
than bringing yourself down.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. And thank you for sharing. I've done that. And anyone else who's done it, welcome to put it in the chat as well, right? And there's no shame in acknowledging what we learned from, whether it's the past or the present. That's our true strength when we can truly say, yeah, I've done it. Human, right? We learn from that, right? And
Yes,
it's to shrink at a certain level, but don't lose who we are for other people because
we
we're not. That's my name. Are they me? Heck no. There's only one me. There's only one you, Janet, and one of everyone that's watching. And the minute we give our power away to people, guess what? They think they own us. They own people. They can come whenever they want to take what they want because why not? They have access to it.
usually people pleasers fit into this category a lot, and I was very much a people pleaser because I wasn't confident with who I was or who I am, and by pleasing and doing what people wanted, I thought I was doing the right thing. And then all of a sudden one day I realized they only get a hold of me when they want something. Like, they don't just like reach out and say, "Hello, how was your day?" They're like, "Oh, well, hey, can you do this?" And I was just, and then as soon as I made that and I stopped returning messages, because, and it wasn't, that was really hard because that part of me wanted to help because I love helping, but once I drew that line, she's I kind of lost her as a friend. But you know what? Was it
Yeah,
a good loss? Probably, because I don't need to jump 20 feet when you say to.
yeah.
But
We
I will be there if there is a crash. If it's truly an emergency or truly something you need, I will always be there. But I'm not just going to do everything.
I love that. Yeah, I was gonna say we can't give away what we don't have, right? Some people leave us feeling absolutely drained. And it happened multiple times in the past. I'm around certain people and all of a sudden I just feel gross and the thoughts in my head, the self-image I had of myself. Like, what the heck? I thought I was having a good day. I woke up this morning, I'm praising God. I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful for everything. And then all of a sudden, it is in those points that we can choose to define how we're gonna see our future and our day, how it's gonna go. Because it's very easy for someone to ruin our day, our morning, and we stay out the whole day. And when we do that, even though it's hard, I'm not gonna say it's easy. When we do that, we give that person or people power over us because they're watching. Okay, they may not be sitting next to us watching, but based on what we type on social media of what that person made us feel like and what they said. They know the pushing buttons and they know where to go, how to go, and when to push. What are your
Yes. Um, yeah. You just, you have to be very careful.
Yeah, yeah. Hi, Kayla said, goodness, I can relate to that. I'm a people pleaser. I'm always there for everyone. It gets draining. And when I step back from some people, they make it look like I'm a bad person. Girl, yeah, I can relate. Sorry, you guys, I'm having trouble reading because I got glasses, okay? Kayla said they're full. Look,
They look great on you. Just keep them on.
I look like a nerd.
You don't. That is, someone put that in your brain a long time ago, and you can just dump that. If you can see better, then what does it matter?
So that's why I'm going close. Oh, I actually can see better. That's why I was going closer, trying to see. I'm trying to see what she's putting on, but wow, big difference.
Well, then just keep
Yeah,
them on, honey. I wear them. I don't need them to read, but I need them for
yeah,
far away.
yeah, yeah. Let's tackle Kayla's comment there. Very juicy one. Thank you for sharing, Kayla. Wow, I think all of us at some point in our lives have been people pleaser. Why? Because there are people who have more power than us. And for us to get to their level, we do whatever we can to get there. Or there are people with no power who are just miserable, who wants to suck the life out of people, who wants to see them as miserable as they are. Therefore, they do whatever they can to get to that person at any cost, at any time, right? So thank you for sharing, Kayla. You're not alone. You're not a bad person. You're a good person. She's my friend, actually. And let people be. Let them go, right? I see it as, we have 4 seasons here. In the fall, the leaves, they wither, they fall away. See it that way, right? Not everyone is there for every season. Not all of them are gonna stay. And be
People
okay.
come for a season, and some people are for a life. Some people are just for a moment.
Yeah,
Everyone has
yeah,
their, and it's not always for us to decide.
yeah, yeah. And be okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay with it. And in the beginning, it's gonna sting. It's gonna hurt. It's a type of heart pain that's hard to describe. It feels achy. It feels heavy. You just feel like you're not a good person, but really that's them. It's not you. It's how they wanting you to feel. Don't buy or feed into it, if I can say that.
Yeah, and by acknowledging the situation and and seeing the resistance that
Yeah,
you have brought yourself present. And seriously, if you don't believe it, then take a breath, because that always, like, physically is an action.
yeah, yeah,
I do that quite a bit. And I'm like, okay, well, then I can make, then you are empowered to make a choice of what is best for you right now.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Always.
Janet, yeah, Janet just
Presence is
empowered.
where, presence is where it's at.
Yeah, yeah, I was just gonna say you just empowered me to put those on. So, okay, I can see clearly now, you guys. I see. Yeah, I'm not used to them. Some people wear glasses all their life, and some like me, I'm just not used to them. So, yeah, yeah. Janet, let's talk about the physical symptoms that someone can feel, you know,
Mm.
when they have to deal with all of the different types of energy vampires we just shared. And I have some notes here if I'm looking down. That's what I'm looking at, you guys. All right. Overwhelming feelings, stress, physical illness, example, headaches, body ache, and more. Mentally and physically exhausted. You're just irritable and just anxious. Do you want to add any more to it, Janet?
Um, you could possibly, I think, dis- discontentment, and maybe like, I don't want to say anger, that you're angry, but yet frustration,
Mm,
um, or just anything that in your that your body is saying, "Mm, this isn't comfortable."
mm, mhm. Yeah, yeah, I agree. Uh, we lost Janet for a minute.
Yeah, I got rid of the timer. It won't go off again.
Okay, okay. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, do you have anything else you'd like to add to
I
the symptoms?
I think your body, everyone's body will respond differently, but your body is really a clue of it. It wants to let you know what's going on, and if
Yeah.
you're starting to raise your shoulders, or your heart is starting to get you're breathing a little heavier, or a little quicker,
Yeah.
those are all little signs. Or if you're clenching your jaw, that's a that's another one. Just those are probably the biggest ones that I pay attention to.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you pay attention to?
I've had all of those, to be honest. And before my eyes were open, I didn't know people were doing all those crap to me. And those were people who they were very good at what they do. It's like a professional job. I'm like, why do you go to work? Right? They're just like a snake, and they're charming, outspoken, good looking, and they talk like they know it all, you know? And through that, it made me feel small, right? And oh yeah, mentally and physically exhausted, you guys. Check. Right? I'm learning
Yeah,
that now because I'm diagnosed with several mental health diagnoses and chronic pain and all of it. And that is my body that was and is continuing to signal to me, hey, wake up. Believe it or not,
yeah.
our bodies speak to us. Do we always listen to it? No, not
No.
really.
The more I've done the work and am doing the work on myself,
Hmm.
um, I definitely have a lot less pain. Like, I used to get pain like in my upper right shoulder, and like it would not go away. And I like rarely have that. And if it does start to come, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
it's time to wipe this out, because I got to change the way I'm going, get up and move my body around, move my, change what I'm thinking about and how I'm seeing things.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, yeah. Well, all in all, what I'm saying, Janet is saying, is it really worth killing yourself? You know, letting people do that to ourselves, our bodies. No, no, no. I would love to stay sane to watch my grandbabies grow up, right? So take action, set healthy boundaries, speak your truth, okay? Believe it or not, we're going to go into trauma soon, but believe it or not, the bodies speak. Okay, if you don't speak your truth, oh, you don't want to know what brews under there. All right, it's a bomb waiting to explode. Speak your truth and do it now. Do it soon. Do it today. And believe me, it's going to hurt when you do it. It's a very narrow path, I tell people. Okay, people ask me, how are you even smiling with all the stuff you've been through? I've been alone, okay? And it's a narrow path. And that path, there are very few people who can come near us and be with us and walk it with us. And there are many who cannot hit that path because their ego is bigger than their heart, okay? So listen to your heart. Do what's right now. Don't wait. Don't wait for body parts to start not functioning. It's not, well, we're not cars. You know, like cars, there's different parts. There are different parts for the body, though. Heart surgery, hip replacement. But does it have to get to that point? No. So step up and do what needs to be done for you. So you want to add to that before we go to the next part?
No, I think you did great.
Thank you. Thank you. You're doing good too, Janet, right, guys? You're doing good. So here are some characteristics that you may notice that energy vampires will display. Okay. Very big ego. They love to debate. They argue. They pick fights, which we kind of focused on. And sometimes they're passive aggressive or aggressive. They just have those tendencies. What are your thoughts, Janet?
That probably describes it pretty well. I mean, it's ultimately it's about power. I
Yeah,
think a lot of it is a power trip.
yeah.
Um, not all. I mean, but like I said, you also they have stuff and limiting beliefs and programs that are running in them that is why they are behaving that way. And I'm not making an excuse for any kind of violence or any kind of things that hurt people, but a lot of times they're not even aware that they're doing it.
Mhm.
I mean, because it's only when you're ready to open your mind and look at things at a different perspective, because
Yeah.
everyone is correct from their own point of view, always,
Mm,
because that is the point of view that they have. And it's not our job to say that they're wrong, but just
mm,
love them where they're at, and 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 set your boundaries.
mm. Yeah, yeah. And they also feel paranoid. They have resentment issues and anger issues. And they whine, they complain about everything, gossiping, insecurities, all of it. They do it all because it makes them feel better. And I hear you, Janet. I love your and your take on it, right?
Thank
You're saying
you.
that, yeah, you're welcome. You're saying that there's more to what we're seeing.
Oh,
Some,
there always
yeah,
is.
yeah, yeah,
Because until you walk in someone else's shoes, you don't know what they're dealing with. I mean, there was a time in my life, I mean, I have always been positive. I've always been a cheerleader type personality,
yeah,
but I had a lot of really negative stuff going on inside my brain that no one knew that I was fighting, and I didn't expect them to understand. But my husband would come home and I always say one of the hazards of being a stay-at-home mom was is I had all this time and all, you do the different things in your day, and what do? You think. And like he would come through the door and he'd be in trouble for this and that and that, and he had not been there all day, but yet I had this whole conversation in my head. Not that I'm crazy, but I mean, I just I would create things, and it was just the insecurity of who I am and what I'm here to do and who I was and who I am. It was my own insecurity that was ruling the roost. Call it the devil, whatever. I don't know. Your ego, as in, not that I think I'm better than you, but your ego of your subconscious was ruling the roost in my life. I had shoved so many things underneath my rug because, I didn't want to deal with it. Well, eventually that rug is no longer laying flat, but is in a mountain.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then you get until you start to weed it away and get it flatter, does life get better?
Mm, yeah, I love that. Yeah, it catches up to us. It
Yep.
does. Yeah,
Before
and
before we know it. I mean,
yeah, that's why most people do not want to go to therapy. It's too much crap to dig through. They don't want to, they don't want to talk about it, see it. And I used to be one of those people. It's suffocating. So I'm not telling you people what to do, but do you?
well, and but I couldn't find a therapist
Mhm.
that could deliver what I needed. I didn't know what I needed, but I knew I didn't love me. And I actually have learned through mindset coaching, um, how to love me, and actually 98% of what I'm telling you is from my experience of being coached or learning. I am now a certified coach that I am still every day working on me and keep improving me and I want to do that every day to my last breath because one, it just makes, I don't know, it makes me giddy and I love it. Like this is the second like mindset conversation I'm having today. And like, this is like a grand day.
Yeah.
I, I love this stuff. I mean, because what it's done for me and the trauma that I've been through and programming from childhood
Yeah.
is such a gift. And if I can get just one person to open their eyes to seeing something a little bit different in a very,
Yeah.
very kind and gentle way, then man,
Mhm.
that's like gold. That's better
Yeah.
than gold. That is God's unconditional love
Yeah.
at its best.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. It's hard sometimes, isn't it? We want people to wake up. We want people to see their worth and value in themselves because it's so easy to give to many people, community, and whatnot. When we give sometimes from an empty place because we don't have the same love we have for those we're serving. And it's miserable. It's a miserable way to live. Not that it's not good to give, but what are we giving ourselves in return when we're giving to so many people,
The
right?
the people pleasing, that's why we do a lot of times you're giving from an empty place, but by giving you're kind of filling your own cup selfishly, but not but it's a good act, but you need to take care of you. And if you are at a spot where you're strapped, instead of going over, bends and this and that to get it done, if it's
Yeah.
not going to happen, it's not going to happen. Like, for an example, for many years, I have helped our CCD, our program here for religion on Wednesday evenings. I've been a teacher, I've been a monitor, I've been an aide, I've done a lot of it, and
Mm.
I was every year the Holy Spirit would be like, "Nope, you need to teach. Nope, you need to teach," and then all of a sudden it said, "No, there's another role for you," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So then, yeah, and I ended up teaching that year, in a different way, and now my youngest is a junior in high school,
Mhm.
and I see the emails coming through. Hey, we need a building monitor, and in the past, I would always just step up and I would just do it,
Yeah.
and that is, I just was telling last night at the dinner table. I said, I have a personal problem with this. By me not stepping forward, then I feel like I'm being that parent that isn't doing anything. And I'm saying, oh, someone else can do it. And my youngest is like, but mom, you sing with the church choir. Not everyone does that. You're doing things. You're just not doing it that way. And he was like very adamant about, mom, you're still contributing to the church and you're still doing good things.
Yeah.
It's okay. But I kind of needed him to give me that affirmation that it was okay to choose to let give someone else the opportunity to step up.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Um, Here are some situations where I think some people deal with energy vampires that they don't know of, if that makes sense. Example, I don't like downtown because it's busy, it's stanky, it's full of people. I can hear everything and it's overstimulating. That's another type of energy release or suction that people get from us that we don't even know those people. It's just the environment and all of it. What are your thoughts? Do you like busy places? I don't.
I used to like them more when I wasn't developing myself. Now, like when we go to the airport, I mean, I used to be that person. Like, I would try to talk to my husband, like, and it would drive him nuts. He'd be like, "Why are you trying to talk?" And now I get it. Like, I can just sit there and I can just watch people and just take in the environment, and observe how people go about their ways and that. Um, but and when you were talking about that, another one to really pay attention to, especially now and for our children, is all the video games and the TVs and the having the phone in your hand at all times. It is a huge, God love it. It's good, but it's got its drawbacks. You got to watch what you're doing, and shutting it off an hour before bed is really, or taking, maybe not shutting off, but putting it to the side. It's true discipline. I mean, I'm not always good. I'll admit it, but I also am gifted with really good sleeping genes. When it's time to go to bed, I go to bed. But not everybody's got that. And there is a true thing of your circadian rhythm, of taking care of your sleep and protecting yourself too. By taking care of your sleep, it will help your health and will help you to deal with all of these energy vampires way more. I didn't think, you probably thought we were ever going to go there, but we got there.
Yeah, no, no, I'm happy to hear your thoughts on it. So next, we're going to talk about 10 ways to cope with energy vampires. Once we're done those 10 ways, we're going to jump to trauma, you guys. Okay, so if you need to refresh your coffee, tea, get a snack, whatever it is, you need to come back to listen to this because it's juicy. I get excited talking about stuff like that. Are you ready, Janet?
Yes.
All right, so the first key point out of the 10 ways to protect yourself and to cope with energy vampire is stop making prolonged eye contact. That's interesting, I find, as I was doing my research, right? Because
Hmm.
you know how there's this body language. I our eyes also speak.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't give people our attention because, and I don't even know how to put this into proper word, right? Body language, eye contact, we just don't feed into what they're giving us, if that makes sense. It does?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do you have anything to add to that one before I go to the second one?
No, I don't think so. I'm going to let that one slide on under. Okay.
Okay, and the next one is to set a time limit, meaning you don't have to be around that person longer than you need to be around that person. If you know they're draining you, you can feel it, if they're naggy, negative, blah, blah, blah. Okay. You swing by, you get your stuff done, and you peace out.
I've
You just,
I have also said, I'm not at a place where I can discuss this or want to discuss this right now. Can we come visit this later?
yeah, yeah. I love that you bring that up because I've had few situations in the past where people were forcing to get information that were personal and private. And I didn't realize what happened until after. I'm like, what the? Who gives
Yeah.
the right to ask me that? I felt violated, if that makes sense. My
Yeah.
privacy violated, right? Like, huh, no more. Yeah, yeah. So the third key point is to learn not to react. React-
That one's hard. That one is, because the ego and the subconscious and your programming wants to scream forward and just go
Yeah,
and yeah, like a little bit ago, I fell I fell into that because I didn't even realize it, but there was a box in front of our door, and my husband got it, and he opened it up, and and I don't understand. I don't understand why. Uh, but I had ordered 2 books. Okay, 2 of this.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know why I got balloons, but I got
I
balloons
know
there.
I'm
But
celebrating.
and
Yeah,
I got 2 books like early that I didn't order. And then now, yesterday, I got the 2 books that I did order. So then now I have 4 books. And then today, another hardback showed up at my door, and I didn't order it. And and my husband's like, "You already have this book. Why do we?" I said, "Honey, I don't I don't know, because I really only ordered 2." I said, "There is a reason
Yeah.
beyond my understanding and what I know right now at this point in time." And I got really he's like, "Well, the way you're defensive, you sound like you're guilty." And I'm like, "I'm not, but I but I know the history.
Yeah.
I mean, I have made, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't understand it. I'm either supposed to really talk about this book, or I'm supposed to find people that are supposed to have it. I don't know. It'll
Mhm.
work out. It'll
Yeah.
work out.
Yeah. We have a comment from Kayla. I got my glasses on, guys. I will give eye contact sometimes, but not sure. Some reason I get uncomfortable, like people are staring into my soul. It's weird, but I have been like that for a long time. Girl, people do that to me all the time. Yeah, yeah, and it can be uncomfortable. You know, sometimes in different shows I watch, they say eye contact is romantic and it's respectful, you're paying attention, but if it gets a little, crooked, you just look somewhere else. But I get what you mean by, them staring at your soul. Again, it goes with them violating your space. You feel like they taken something from your soul, from your space that they weren't supposed to take. That's how I've felt at least. But thank you for sharing, Kayla. Yeah, what are your thoughts, Janet?
Yeah. Um, it comes down to boundaries again. And no one can make that decision for you except you.
Mhm.
And the big
Yeah,
thing is keep your body and emotionally and physically in the way that you feel good. And if you're not feeling mentally, physically, or emotionally in a secure place, then that's when you need to check in.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, I agree. And be selfish, right? It ties in with boundaries. Here's why I preach on selfishness. It's not always what people think. When we think someone, oh, this person is selfish, they don't give this and that. It's always of what we can give that defines what selfishness is or isn't. What about what we can give ourselves to be able to grow and cultivate something to give to more people? How is that not healthy, right?
Yeah. It's kind of like the cup. Is your cup half full or half empty? And and you can't pour from an empty cup. And
Yeah,
I
yeah, I agree.
know we hear that all the time, but when you really get at the point where you really understand that little line of that, what it really means,
Mhm.
that's when you know you're moving towards taking care of yourself and making good, better decisions for yourself.
I agree. Yeah. And the fourth key point is learn not to argue. That's it.
Yep.
Don't do
Don't
it.
fight. Don't fight the resistance. Embrace it and love it,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
and let it be. It is what it is.
It will drain you. Just don't give in to it. It's not worth it. That's what I always say. It's not that this person is not worthy for who they are and blah blah blah. It's just not worth my peace, not worth my health, not worth my time, not worth my energy, none of it, right? It's just to set that boundary. There are healthy boundaries, you guys. They're not bad. They're a healthy one. So just setting that, right? Yeah, what are your thoughts, Janet?
Yeah, just it's important. It just really is.
Yeah, yeah. I have a quote here. It's by Idel Ahmed. He or she says, don't entertain negative energy. Some situations will test your patience and try to make you overreact, overthink, and respond to things that don't deserve your life force. Ooh. And he continues to say, pay attention. Your attention is your power. Don't feed what doesn't add value to your life. Conserve your energy. That's
By not responding, you have more power than by responding.
hmm yeah, I agree. Are you ready for the fifth key point?
Yep.
We're getting there, you guys. We're getting there. The fifth one is go with other people. Okay. I don't know, change your circle. Reduce the vampire package.
Just
Split in half and gradually, get rid of them.
yeah, just be if it's you should always be in testing mode and evaluation mode of who you're surrounding yourself with.
I agree. Yeah. The sixth key point is, ooh, I love that one. Listen more than talk. Be an You may have a mountain of stuff to say. Must you say it? No, you don't have to. I mean, you can if you want to wrestle with your peace and give it away. But silence is an answer too. And like we've been talking about, people look for an action, a reaction, and how it's gonna make you feel. They feed off that, right? Listen more, talk less. Yeah.
Yesterday when I was out walking or running, I was listening to a podcast and it was about
Okay, mine.
communication. No, unfortunately, no. Um, sorry.
No way.
but
Yeah.
but they were talking about communication, and they said, when you're in a conversation, saying okay, yeah, 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 that actually, instead of being supportive to a person, actually can give them feelings of like, oh, I need to hurry up. And so listening and then taking a moment to say, this is what I heard from you, to just kind of like short recap it, is that, and get that confirmation of you had heard it correctly, and then go from there.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. I agree. Yeah. Um, the seventh key point is try sticking to lighthearted topics instead of talking about heavy, dense stuff. Light it up, you
The
know?
weather is always a good subject.
Light it up, people, because there's so much bad, and also I believe there's more good than bad that is happening in the world we live in. And it's a choice to pick what we want to feed our souls. It's a choice to choose what we feed our family, our environment, our communities. Not that we don't feel remorse, we don't feel the pain and the loss or whatever maybe that's going on. But I believe there is more good than bad. So it's people's choice what they choose, right?
Yep.
hmm Yeah, how doing for time?
We're 10 after. What time? We started at 1. We're at an hour and 10.
Okay, well, tells you how good this is. Yeah, okay, so the number 8 is to visualize. I love that one because I started to meditate. You don't have to meditate to do this, okay? It says to visualize a white light surrounding your body, your auric field, and just protecting you from anything outside of you, and visualizing that nothing can pierce or go past or through it. Okay, anyone, you can do it anywhere, anytime, any day, doesn't matter. If you feel that way, even if you don't feel like doing it, just do it. Just do it through your mind. It can be a thought, or you can speak it out. So speak life into your mind and heart, right? What are your thoughts?
Actually, I do a version of that, because a year ago we had gotten hit head on again, and then after that's like the third time in my life. And so I had PTSD kick in, and I was talking with a coach, and I'm like, I don't get it. I said I was driving down the streets in like a little town, the neighboring town, and I said, and just like out of nowhere, like I have like this fear of like someone's gonna hit me. And he's like, before you get when you get in your vehicle, just say, God, thank you for protecting me and putting the bubble of light around me to keep me safe and trusted. And that really has helped. And he's like, you'll be amazed sometimes how like people will like bounce off of you because you have this bubble of light around you.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah, yeah. And it's good to visualize that. And the next key point, avoid when possible. I love that it's when possible because you can always avoid people. All right, maybe your energy vampire, they're your kids. Maybe they grow up, they're out, but here and there they come back and suck the life out of mom or dad and go out again. Maybe it's a partner, maybe it's a sibling or siblings. Could be anybody. Maybe it's a coworker. Oh, so many people hate their jobs, you guys. It's sad. It makes me sad. I'm laughing, but it's sad because I think people should love what they do wholeheartedly and they should
Mm-hmm.
grow and thrive from that, not hating it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. And do you have anything to add before we go to the last one? And then we're going to do a little bit of chat on trauma.
Nope. Go ahead.
Okay. Last one with energy vampires. There's the cut off contract. Cut off contact. Just to cut it off, you know? These people are not always healthy, and it, like I said, it's going to be hard, it's going to be painful, it's going to be lonely. Do it for you. That's it. Yeah.
It's yeah. Sometimes we can't remove ourselves. So then go back and do the other things that we talked about earlier to
Mhm.
protect yourself and to
Yeah,
help keep energy up.
great. So Janet,
Yes.
let's focus a little bit on trauma. I'm gonna have to do a part two of this, you guys, um, because I can't create miracles out of 2 hours. So because I'm like, trauma. There's no way I can do this in an hour or two. Not because I can't. There's too much to it. There's so many types of trauma. So, Janet, how would you define trauma?
Trauma is an event or um, maybe a physical, emotional event that has taken place in your life and it changes you and how you perceive the world and how you think about the world and your actions that you will take forward into your life. And they usually end up becoming programs and limiting beliefs.
Oh, I love that. Thank you for sharing. If you're human, you most likely have been traumatized. If you can feel, even pets, anything that breathe, exist, live, they've experienced trauma. The ocean have experienced trauma. Pets, nature, all of it, and most importantly, we do too. And it hits us pretty hard, right? It's a sudden shock to the psyche. Sometimes it's violent, sometimes it's not. And there are so many types of trauma. Childhood trauma, there's school shootings, natural disaster, culture trauma, role trauma. What I mean by role trauma is I'm mom, your dad. There's expectation, there's pressure to perform miracles. Right? I can attest to that as a single mom of two who's barely crawling most days, right? I have to take care of more people than myself. It's not about me, right? That's a healthy, but over time it can be traumatizing. If you're a mom, parent, single mom, you know what I mean, right? And there's generational trauma. My gosh, that's a big one.
That that's the one that you don't know how it's really affecting you until much later.
Mm, yeah, that one messed me up pretty good. Because here I am, I'm paying for my great grandfather's mistakes and mother's mistakes. And it's in my DNA. It's coursing through my bones and veins. And It's not a heart issue. It's not a mind issue. It's more than that. I can't tap into what the heck it is. And it drives me mad. Right? Because I don't know what it is. It's more than I can put my finger on, if that makes sense.
But you were chosen. You're the one to be the changer, the change maker of your family.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. That's what I always say. I always say it stops with me. Whatever dysfunction it is, that's where it stops. I'm pumping the brake, it stops there. Right? Ooh, this one's a big one. Sexual trauma. It's a big
My
one.
friend that I've met, um, she also has a traumatic brain injury, and she is. I was in part of that Unstoppable Volume One. Well, she's in part of Unstoppable Volume Three,
Mm,
and I bought the Kindle version, and I read her story, and I was like, oh, OMG. I don't say that very quick because I don't really curse, but it was like your heart just hurt. That from from about 1.5 to 3 years old till she was
yeah,
17, she was being abused, and her mom, a therapist told her mom to leave, and her mom couldn't find a way to leave safely, and so yeah, I mean, there's unfortunately more of that in our world
yeah,
than
yeah,
what,
yeah,
because like I live in a small little area, and we like to think that we have like a bubble around us because everyone thinks and acts the same and has the same faith, and we're all the same thing, but there's things here. It's just
yeah,
because we choose to do this,
yeah,
and when you choose to do this, you don't have to do anything about it because you don't see it.
yeah. And it's those of us who choose to remove this, that, or the oddballs. I heck that.
No, we're not odd. We're just
What,
different.
you know,
We're just wired a little different, okay?
yeah, well, that's how some people see it. If we're not focusing on what they believe in, what they want to do, then we're not on their team. I love being a wild card, a black sheep, uh, that person who just care but don't care at the same time. Because it is through people like me and you and many others that we can actually create change, right? Because it's scary. To do what we're doing, to say what we're saying, because every single word that someone may utter, it's being judged, right? So you got to build the skin to let it slide off and be okay with it,
Mm-hmm.
right? Yeah. Have anything else you want to add to what you were saying? No? Okay.
No, it's just trauma is, yeah, that's big, and keep your eyes open to it.
And also trauma, it's so complex. Even the brilliant minds of this world cannot fully comprehend the complexity of it. Let moi, me.
Yep.
Right? You get scientists, doctors, psychologists, blah blah blah, all the people who can and get the education to study this stuff. They're getting there, but there's more to it that they can't really put their hands on. It's a mystery with
Well, and
yeah.
the perspective of the things like anesthesia, they still don't really understand fully how it works or why it works. They just know it does work, and there are certain guidelines on how to do it safely, but they don't really understand what it does to the neurological system
Yeah.
that they can do it. I mean, but we have to trust it.
Oh my gosh, speaking of Anastasia, I think someone, is that how you say it? Someone was telling me, um, I've heard a few birth stories of trauma, of epidural and all of that. How after these people give birth, a year or so later, just the different awful symptoms that they're having from
Mhm.
they may not even know where it's from, but could be from that as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
It's mine. Yeah. Yeah. And I guess when it comes to trauma, it can prolong. There's short-term trauma, long-term trauma, and we all process it differently. That is why I give people the platform that I call my baby, that I have a podcast, with the understanding in mind that no one has to share what I want them to share. Because I get people saying, what would you like me to share today on the podcast? I love the work that you're doing. I said, thank you. I also love the work that you're doing. You can share whatever you want. They're like, okay, that's cool. That's awesome. And then at the end of the interview, like, where did the time go? I had so much fun. Like, that's what it's about. It's not about me. It's about you, right? So there's different types of it. And let's talk about PTSD for a little bit. Would you ever guess that I'm diagnosed with PTSD?
I've not been diagnosed by a doctor, but I know I have PTSD from my car accident.
Mm,
Um, I will get the pain in my back. Like even if I'm not even hurt and someone hits us, I have excruciating pain, and it's mental. It is a mental. I'm mentally hurting myself. And this last time I had done enough learning about mindset and
mhm.
that I was aware of it. And my husband's like, it's between here and here, and I'm like, I know. And so like every time like the pain would start to get really bad or whatever, I'd be like, it's not real. You are safe. You are safe. And it just, you have that program in your body, and it's fight or flight. You feel like you are fighting for your life. And I mean, I was fine. I this last time on the scene, I actually, like, I didn't get out of the vehicle that right away, and I just said, no, I need you to just leave me alone. And I sat there and I'm like breathing, and I'm like, it's a choice. It's a choice.
Yeah,
It is a choice. I have a
yeah,
choice, I had to do some work. I had to do a lot of work, but it's a real thing.
mhm,
And and it works on your mental and your physical body.
yeah, yeah. And it's not only veterans as they're understanding that suffers from this. So
Yeah.
uh, it's real, people. It's real. Anything can trigger it at any time, any point, any person, any environment, music, shows, and so I'm careful what I watch because it messes me up a little bit, even more than I
Well,
am. So
and law, like like if you lost someone really close to you, at that moment when you lost them, your body is taking in the senses of what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you're feeling. Everything gets programmed into your body, and that and that's it's a state of grief, and you have to process it and give yourself the grace to
yeah,
to gradually work through it. I mean,
yeah, yeah, I agree. We're gonna go over the 5 common trauma responses.
okay,
Again, mind that not everyone experienced them the same way or in order. It's all over the place, just like it sounds. Trauma, it's messy and it's complex and complicated to the point that we can't always comprehend what it is. All right. The first one is anxiety, which I think so many people have anxiety, whether they know it or not, whether it's diagnosed or not. So many people have it, right? And what are your thoughts on anxiety?
anxiety, as much as it doesn't feel like a choice, it is a choice for most people. You can help eliminate it by splashing cold water on your face. um I end my hours with a cold shower, and it mentally, and I stand there and I'm counting, my note to like 15, 20, and I'm also saying I can do hard things. I can do hard things because it's just a program.
Mm,
And the anxiety, knowing, getting to know who you are and what your triggers are, what will set you into a state of panic,
mhm,
and and it's hard once it and try to limit that exposure if you can. I mean, granted, we can't always. You're going to have your moment, but then you also need to figure out what do you have to do to keep yourself safe and the people around you safe. I mean, it's kind of like having a seizure in a way, but it's not a seizure. It's an emotional seizure is what anxiety is. And you need to figure out how to work through it.
Mhm, mhm. I'm gonna agree to disagree, if I may,
Yeah,
with what you say. Okay.
yes.
I'm also diagnosed with schizophrenia.
Mm,
I'll give you a reason that it cannot be a choice sometimes because I wasn't able to control the hallucination. I was not able to control the voices I was hearing and the paranoia. But I do understand what you mean. Now that I'm well, I'm not experiencing any of those things. It is a choice of mine to work with my triggers,
mm-hmm.
to it's not actually happening, which is what you mentioned, which I love as well. It's the brain, it tricks us in ways that makes things look real when they're not.
Yes. Oh, we, because of our programming and the limiting beliefs, we lie to ourselves a lot. And
Yeah.
it is our responsibility to ask ourselves, is this real?
Hmm. Yeah. 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 I agree. We're almost there.
Okay.
Self-sabotage. All
Uh,
of us do it. Yeah, we all do it. Yeah. Yeah. And the fourth key point is this association. Gosh, I do that constantly, even now. It's just a way of protecting myself. I mentally check out. I disconnect from my environment, from people, and I do it unintentionally because that's how I've survived thus far. That's it. It's just a surviving mechanism, if I may put it.
mm-hmm.
I gotta survive, and I know a lot of us do that. We live on a survival mode.
But you need to make the difference. If is it just a habitual thing, or is it something that you're choosing to do to keep yourself safe? Because there's a difference between habitually just falling into the I'm not focused thing and whatnot, or choosing not to engage because it's for your well-being physically and mentally.
Uh, this one is beyond my ability or power to choose. It's weird. I force myself to ground myself here in the present moment, but it's like a constant battle to say, I want to be present right now, today, right? So yeah, it's a work in progress. And I love a
I
challenge.
I dare you to take a breath every time. Every time. Like seriously, every time. Take a physical breath and you'll be amazed. Seriously. That breath is a breath and a gift of life.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I've heard of breath work, people doing breath. I, and I do feel better. You're right. It does something to the brain and the body when we breathe. And when we hold the breath and contract the air that's coming in and out, it gives us power over how we can create those breath that we're allowing to come in and out, if that makes sense.
When you start to breathe, like I was like, wow, did I ever breathe before? Because like I like breathe all the time now.
Yeah,
Like, when I would do exercises, like I would hold my breath. I don't know why, but I would hold my breath.
yeah,
And I'm like, now I like purposely breathe and it just, yeah.
yeah, I agree. Okay, the last one is trauma bonding, just like it sounds, bonding. You ready?
Yep.
Choosing relationship that reenacts a previous experience. Staying in toxic, manipulative, abusive relationships. And in those relationships, sometimes there's control from the abusers. They pull us away from our friends, community, family, faith, and belief. That's just a few. That's just a few I'm gonna name. What
And
are your
that's hard
thoughts?
to walk. That's, I'm not gonna lie. That is where you need people to help you,
Yeah.
because that is that's hard to break. That is extremely hard to break, because they, with that, you also have all the other limiting beliefs about yourself, and so you don't feel good about your, you know, it's one thing if you're a happy-go-lucky person and you want to walk away from a situation, and someone that has the programmings and the trauma and the limiting beliefs, and they don't like themselves and they don't love themselves, and they can't see the sun, the rainbow in the sky, and
Yeah.
that's, it takes, you're going to need someone to help you, or a come to God, come to Jesus moment. Jesus has got the power to help you. I
Yeah.
always, Jesus has got the power,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
takes more than just yourself to make that decision.
Mm. Oh, I love that. Let me tell you, you guys, trauma bonding can truly mess someone up. Not because they're not good enough, not because they're not a good person, not because they don't have good intentions. Because at times, even though they have power and control, but that's taken from them. And feel useless, powerless, unworthy. I've felt all those emotions. I'm human, I'm guilty, right? I've felt all of them. And it takes time to work through those emotions. Because we talked about self-love. How can love when our love is taken away from us by we don't deserve it?
By tapping into you and your inside, and finding that you have your mind and you have a body, but you ultimately are spirit and soul, and that spirit and soul is made of the creator's unconditional love. You are love, and being in stillness and quietness will help
Mm,
you to start tapping into that, and give you time. But because my one coach says there's is there such thing as self-love, because you are love, and I'm like, you can know that, but knowing it, or you can believe that, but there's a
mm,
difference between believing and knowing, and it's it takes action daily to tap
yeah,
into that.
yeah. And if you're stuck in that place, you might need a truckload of people to pull you out. And the person or people or whoever maybe that's keeping you in bondage, maybe you're your life. Hey, I'm not here to give advice to that extent, right?
Yeah,
Trust in yourself, believe enough in yourself to know that you deserve more, that you deserve better, and that getting help is not a sign of weakness. That's
yeah,
what gets to me with the culture I'm in, with this soup I'm in, is that when I ask for help, it makes me weak, it makes me a bad person, it makes me look bad. Thankfully, I can separate those two cultures because I was born and raised in Haiti. I'm in Canada. The culture is different. I can split it and know that hey, it's okay because I grew up in a village community.
mm-hmm.
We like this, and here like that. Even houses like that, people are very distant when really we should be coming together, when we should be staying connected and plugged in each other to continue to grow.
Yep.
So we're gonna wrap up. Do you have any last words or anything you want to leave everyone with that's been watching?
Just really take time in your day, take the extra 5 minutes, start with 5 minutes and try to work up to 20 minutes of just finding stillness and calm and quietness,
Mhm.
and your life will start to change, and it will change you, how you see things, and and all the trauma, all the energy. You'll be able to see things that you couldn't see before. And it doesn't, you weren't wrong, you weren't broken. It's just you weren't at that point. You can hear the same message 50 times over, but maybe on that 50th time, you're like, oh, you get a light bulb moment.
Yeah.
And that is that you have gotten the message at its appointed time. Everything happens for a reason at its appointed time.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. Yeah. Um, as we wrap up, I've had, a few people who say, uh, you know more about me than I know about yourself. Like, they don't know me too well. They don't know my story. So I'm gonna share just a few bullet points of different things I've been through. That's not all of it. I want you guys to continue to have that um, spirit of wanting to know more about me. I'm a mystery and I want to keep it that way, right? But over time, I'm opening up, okay? So these are the scars trauma has left on my mind and my physical human body because it cannot touch my soul, right? So I was born and raised in Haiti, third world country, they call it, all right? Childhood sexual abuse, physical, psychological abuse, neglect, alcoholic father, and I would see him beating my mom, okay? And I spent most of my childhood in an orphanage in Haiti, more abuse there. And there's spiritual trauma. I grew up around different religions that I was told to choose all of them, but I can't do that, couldn't do that, so I chose none. Okay, I was adopted from Haiti. I'm now in Canada, and it's a broken adoption. My adoptive mom is dead, and I have no contact with any of my adoptive families. I have been in the foster care system, more abuse there. I've had one teen excuse me, more abuse there, more judgment there. I've been in the school system here, so I've experienced racism. I've been bullied more than I can count, and I'm diagnosed with mental health issues and PTSD, schizophrenia, anxiety, depression. I have been hospitalized more than I can count. I have tried to commit suicide many times, and I'm glad it didn't work. Okay. And I'm a single mom currently of two, and I live with severe chronic pain 24/7, even though I don't look like it. And I'm going through a spiritual awakening, whatever that means, because I'm in a soup of religions that I was brought up in, so I don't know. Okay. And I was born open as a child, meaning I could connect to what you call the dead that are very much alive. And I am a podcaster, holy Jesus. Right? Those are just a little bit about me, right? And I'm just here to witness the power of humanity and here to lift up people, to love people from everywhere and where they are. That's a little bit about me, but there's more to it. Stay tuned for
You are
more.
you are amazing, and you are a beautiful person.
So
And I'm so glad that God connected us. It is a gift, and I treasure you. Okay.
treasure you too. Thank you so much. Well, that wraps up our what seems to be 3 hour live, you guys.
Yeah,
Ooh, that was a good one.
hour and 41 minutes.
That was good. You know what? I think people are still watching and they're gonna watch it because I'm gonna be sharing it. So yeah.
We did well. We got it moving. We did well.
Yeah. Yeah. So next week I don't know if Janet will join me or not. We'll connect and let you guys know. I do want to continue to talk more about trauma. That was just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more to trauma that that I know, Okay, so we want to cover all of that. Okay, so this was, I don't know if it's part one, but I want to continue to talk more about trauma until I'm satisfied, until I hear from more people. All right.
So if you want her
Yes.
to be quiet, that means drop a lot.
It's gonna be
Oh,
good.
I love you,
Gonna
Bernadette.
be good. Well, you've been listening to Bernadette's TV. Come back next week. Thank you so much, Janet. I love you, and I love everyone that's watching, whether you believe it or not. I do. I have profound love for you, all of you. Thank you. Okay. Bye. Bye.